As I have said that after the literature review, when you have gone through different previous works and you have found that the works that already exist in your domain, in the domain means you have selected, then the main part is that you need to find out the gap, right? The gap means that that thing is, which is not being targeted by other researchers or which is not being able to solve by other researchers, right? And that is, believe me, is the very difficult part. Sometimes it may even take 1.5 years, and I have seen some, in some cases, it more than 2 years just to find out that gap, just to find out that problem statement. Whenever you have found that, the next part is to you frame the research problem or the problem statement. So that is the most important part of your PhD work. So in this unit 2, we are going to study about this research problem, its definitions, how to go for it, and the different types of research problem like that. As I have said that um, this research problem is a statement that should be, of course, definite or clear expression, or you can say statement about an area of concern, a condition to be improved upon. Okay, means an area of concerns means that area where it needs some attention, right? A condition to be improved upon means already some solutions exist, but we need some improvement over them, right? Then a difficulty to be eliminated or a troubling questions that exist in scholarly literature, in theory, or within existing practice that points to a need for meaningful understanding and deliberate investigation. Right. So yes, this definition includes everything about the research problem. It targets every situation for which we need a research problem. So you can take a screenshot of this, and then it will help you to answer this question. So this in bold, I'm specifying some statements which is very important. Like in this case, a research problem does not state how to do something, offer a vague or broad propositions, or present a value questions. So it is exact research problem, but means that you are just stating a kind of problem that to be solved through some research work, through some investigation, but actually you are not showing how to do that. What actually you mean to say, or you mean to refer to a research problem is that what is the gap or what is the problem that is existing in those previous literature. Okay. Okay. Then from this slide, it is clear that what is research problem, why we do need it. Still, let's again study the purpose of the problem statement or research problem statement. So these are the purposes. First, introduce the reader to the importance of the topic being studied. कि हम क्यों कर रहे हैं? Why we are doing this? Okay, what is the reason behind this research work? Right? You all know the PhD is the means highest degree in any academic field, right? So your problem should have some that impact. It's not a PG project, or it's not a means some kind of research project that is being undergone through some PG programs. It is for PhD. So the impact should be reflected there. And that is that impact I'm talking about that will be reflected through this problem statement. So the first purpose is introduce the reader to the importance of the topic being studied. The reader is oriented to the significance of the study. Next, uncourse the research questions, hypothesis, or assumption to follow. It offers a concise statement about the purpose of your work. Same thing, this term hypothesis, I already described and explained in last lecture, I think 2 lectures in one of our research means unit 1 lectures, right? Then third purpose, place the topic into a particular context that defines the parameters of what is to be investigated. Same thing. Okay, what are the parameters we are going to concern with and with which we are going to investigate some problem? So that research problem should be framed in such a way that that parameter should be very clear there. Okay. Many of you, I think that you have already you have already framed your synopsis. Then you have seen that what your guide suggests exactly when these parameters you are including in some ambiguity way, right? So what I mean to say is that this parameter should be clear and concise. And fourth, provide the framework for reporting the results and indicates what is probably necessary to conduct the study, then explain how the findings will present the information. But that should be in brief. Okay, so the purposes we have seen, and now let's come to deal with a question that is frequently being raised. Okay, then what is that thing is that what is that question is exactly, so what? So what? A research problem establishes the means by which you must answer this question. So what? And this question refers to a research problem surviving the relevancy test, the quality of a measurement procedure that provides repeatability and accuracy. Okay, forget this. This means that whether your research problem can justify its relevancy test or not. This means that is it relevant or is it means able to show the gap, that I have explained the first very beginning of this lecture of the literatures or in your area. Either it may be social science, or it may be health science, or it may be any engineering sciences or basic sciences, right? So that should be relevant. I mean, this problem should have the ability to survive the relevancy test. Because whenever the thesis, your PhD thesis, after completion of your research work being evaluated, it will be sent to different experts, generally 2 experts in different, from other state or from other country, right? The very first thing they will target, they will see or they will investigate is your research problem and the relevancy test. तो इसलिए बोल रहा हूँ कि the relevancy test or these purposes that I have explained are very important while designing or while framing a research problem. जिसका जितना research problem strong होगा, उतना ही उनका selection means this accept होने का chances बढ़ जाएगा. The quality of your research problem will increase the acceptance of your thesis work. So, my dear scholars, first thing you have to focus to frame a good research problem for your PhD work. Of course, in this case, your guide will help you to frame this. right? Okay. Now, in general, if we talk about in general cases, whenever we deal with these so what questions, some properties, or you can say some attributes should be fulfilled by that research problem that here I am mentioning. Like first one, of course, clarity and precision should be there. You should very carefully work with some words in that statement, like very, giant. Okay. Now, a small question to you. After this lecture, you will go through it. You don't need to answer me. You just try to analyze whether in your research problem statement of your PhD work, these two words, very, giant, they need to be included or not included. If to be included, in what way or why? And if not to be included, if better not to be included, then why? What is the reason? Try to analyze. Okay. Man, don't forget that I said that clarity and precision should be there in a research problem statement. Okay. Then demonstrate a researchable topic or issue. Obviously, your topic, your PhD problem, sorry, research problem should be able to demonstrate some kind of research topic, right? And it is very good when it is a means application based. Yeah, we have in some basic sciences like pure mathematics, we deal with the theoretical part, of course, but that theoretical part also, the theory based research also should have a good researchable topic. Then identification of what would be studied, and while avoiding the use of value-laden words and terms. So we should focus on what would be studied. Like in our computer science, suppose you should focus that yes, this is the segmentation part where we need to focus on. Suppose in social science, you know the problems. I mean, you know that the areas. By area, I mean some specific area where this problem lies. Okay, you should not broad this. We should not make it broad. Okay, be specific here. Well, then identification of an overarching questions or small set of questions accompanied by key factors or variables. Yes, if there are some questions, then only the problem statement arises, right? So that's why this question should be identified carefully. Then identification of key concept and terms. Terms are very important. As I have said, that segmentation, this is belonging to clustering area, but that segmentation is a kind of keyword, or you can say key term or concept. Then articulation of the study's conceptual boundaries or parameters or limitations. Some generalizability in regards to applicability and bringing results into general use. This is very important. Obviously, the previous one is also important. You should know the limitations, the boundaries, and which is with respect to your study, your research work. Then you next statement says that you should have to try to make it generalize applications with, right? You have seen that deductive research and inductive research that I have explained in one of my lecture. Then you know that what is the difference between these two terms, generalizations and specialization. Convenience of the study's importance, benefits, and justifications. So this means what? The regardless of the type of the research, it is important to demonstrate that the research is not right. Very important. You know that. Does not have some unnecessary jargon, or you can say that you should not make it complex, that people should keep some Oxford dictionary with him or her to understand that problem statement. Okay, so it's on you that how beautifully or how simply you present your problem statement. Then conveyance of more than the mere gathering of descriptive data, providing only a snapshot of the issue or phenomenon under investigation. As I have said, be specific, focus only that particular area or terms, key terms, I should say, on which or for which this PhD work will be conducted. Okay, so you just focus on that particular area to be investigated. Now, this is what we have to keep in mind while dealing with this type of questions with respect to framing a research problem. So I hope now you got it, that what is the research problem means to you, what are the purposes, and how to frame it, right? How to frame it means what are the factors that you should mind when framing this type of research problem. Now, there are different types of research problem. I want to introduce here a few of them. It's four actually. The first one is case research problem. This type of problem relates to the determinations of right and wrong in questions of conduct or conscience by analyzing moral dilemmas through the applications of general rules and the careful distinction of special cases. Try to understand this with some key terms like this case research problem. It tries to deal with the case right or wrong determinations, right? Then difference research problem. Okay, so first, I hope you are getting it, what I mean to say. Research problem you have framed, right? Now we need to determine that what type exactly it is. Some research problem that, yeah, is it right to do these things? Or is it wrong to do these things? These things are indirectly implied from that research problem. Now, some kind of the research problem may typically ask the question that is there a difference between two or more groups of treatments? So that type of thing is known as different research problems. Then descriptive research problem. Let me clear this. Descriptive research problem typically asks the question, what is? Okay. Means if some problem is there regarding its existence or regarding about it, then you can say that that research problem deals with what type of things? Descriptive things. So typically asks the questions, what is, with the underlying purpose to describe the significance of a situation, state, or existence of a specific phenomenon. This problem is often associated with revealing the hidden or understudied issues. This is very important. In fact, some of you have already qualified these UGC examinations, NET and NET and the PhD entrance test also. You have faced this type of questions. Okay, so descriptive research problem deals with what is about that particular some type of say content you have, that why, what is this, and means what is the significance of this. Okay, and what is the significance of this with respect to that situation that you are mentioning in that problem statement. Then the last one is relational research problem. It suggests a relationship of some sort between two or more variables to be investigated. Remember the term I am using here, variable. Right, I just said to you that some parameters with respect to which you are performing research. Yes or no? Suppose if you are undergoing a study on the literacy, means what is the means probability of increasing trend of research in female education. then there you are identifying some intervals or bins. Suppose the age group of 10 to 15, 15 to say 20, 20 to 25, like that. Now you need to define some variable with respect to it. You cannot say that 10 to 15, this population will be same as 15 to 20, right? It will be varied. We need some more variables for that. So similarly, you need to identify the variables with respect to your research problems. And if that research problem tries or suggests a relationship of this among these different variables, then that type of research problem is known as relational research problem. So these are the different types we may see in our research problem statement. Okay, casual difference research, descriptive research, and relational research problem. Today, after this lecture, what you will try to do, you already got this definitions, and then what exactly this is. You try to frame a simple problem and try to identify that in what type this particular problem belongs. Is it difference one, casuist one, or descriptive one, or what? Okay, try to frame it. Okay, I think that's enough for today. And questions that I would like to give for today's lecture. One question I have already given. And the first question is, of course, what do you understand by research problem and statement? Very, very important for all of you. Regardless what disciplines, what schools you belong, you today try to frame your research problem. Okay. Abhi tak to, till now you have already gone through some part of your research, means literature review research, right? Now you try to frame a random research problem. Okay. So first question is that what do you understand by research problem and statement? Second, as I have said, explain different types of research problem with some examples. So this I'm stopping right here. I'm going to take your attendance now.